Greetings and salutations, sports fans. It's Todd Edwards. Happy New Year, coming to you live this Happy New Year's Day, with my broadcast partner, Jones. Trying to socially distance. How about it,
Absolutely.
A little hard to speak through the mask. I think I may have to remove this as we go along. There you go, so I can speak a bit crisper to our fans that are tuned in for our inaugural show here, kind of popping the cork, no pun intended, on a Sports Shooting Stars basketball preview as we're going to be on the cusp of broadcasting some high school basketball games. The governor of our state has lifted the order in effect on Monday at 8 a.m. And with that, schools will be able to start basketball practices again, much to our excitement. How about it?
Yeah, from what I heard, well, congratulations to all the people that made it to 2021. It's been a crazy year, 2020, but, we're glad that everybody has made it. And from what we have heard, everything's going to be open January 4th. The kids need to get at least 10 practices in. And with that, the basketball season's a go.
Yeah, and we mentioned 2020. It was a rough year. I don't know too many viewers or fans that are tuned in that are probably sad to see 2020 end. They were ready to move on here to 2021. And with that, I guess the earliest they could possibly play games, it's my understanding, could be next Friday or next Saturday, pending upon whether or not the schools have had the 10 practices in adherence with the PIAA do.
And as you said, the governor, Wolf, he also said that he reduced the 10 practices.
Excuse me.
Bless you. They either reduced the 10 practices down to 10, or was that 15 and went down to 10?
It was at 15 down to 10.
15 and went down to 10. So, in the next about 10 days, 10 to 20 days, we should have basketball back on scene. And even though we have a schedule out there, we're going to still feature those players. Those teams. But the dates may change because we got to work with COVID, and each school is different on how they run their program.
And our fans that are tuned in, you're watching it either through our Sports Shooting Stars Facebook page, or you can tune into the YouTube White Rose Community Television page where we are live. We'll be live for the next hour. Our schedule, as Dew said, is somewhat fluid here. Because I looked at the schedule just this past week, December 30th, we were supposed to have our first game.
Yeah.
Reading versus York High.
Yeah.
And that's always a big rivalry between the two schools. And then looking ahead to the schedule here, the next one on the schedule was January 5th. And you can follow along on our Facebook page. That information is on our Facebook page, West York and Eastern York. And then how about this, a little girls action. The York High Lady Bearcats face off against McCaskey.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game.
9th. So somewhere in that ballpark, I'm thinking maybe we'll jump on board with our first telecast. January 11th, Dallastown at Central York.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Dallastown has a nice young team. They have Michael Dickerson, I think.
Michael Dixon and Jaden Green. We're going to break into this.
We'll break everything down.
And if they are interested, we have a phone line that they can call in at 717-846-5067.
Yep.
And call in and talk a little bit about high school athletics, albeit we're in the basketball season, or upcoming basketball season. We're going to mention some players from some local teams. If you know of a player, whether from the boys or girls league, that maybe we should keep an eye on, feel free to chime in with some information. It's an open format here on our program. And, of course, do want to make mention that we will be getting underway sometime this month with Sports Shooting Stars after wrapping up a football season, it was a rather busy football season.
Yeah, we had a great opportunity this football season to follow Central York, a couple other players, a couple other teams as well. And like we said, Central York did a great job of putting York County football on the map. I believe, sports in our area is on the rise anyway. That's one of the reasons why we started Sports Shooting Stars, because we seen it down the way a little bit that it was going to be a big thing for York County sports. And it seems like we got a call.
We got a call, dude. You want to take it here?
Go ahead, Todd. You got it.
Sports Shooting Stars, welcome. Who do we have on the line?
One speaker.
Oh, Lindsay, welcome. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we failed to mention it, dude, by the way. As phone callers call in, we're going to be throwing out some trivia questions to our viewers in hopes of maybe winning some cash prizes, right?
Yeah.
$10. Talk to them a little bit about this.
Yeah, we're going to do a sports trivia, pretty much a segment of sports trivia around the end of our show, around the last 20, 25 minutes. We're going to ask some questions, and for any caller that calls in, they have an opportunity to win $10. Well, you can answer 2 questions per call, so you have an opportunity to win $20 per phone call. So, we're going to be doing that towards the end of the program. But for right now, we want to say hi to Lindsay, and also all the viewers that's online. I'm following you guys on YouTube right now, so thanks for tuning in. And we really appreciate the phone call. So I want to say hi to Lindsay for tuning in, and thank you.
Sounds like one of our youngest callers. Lindsay, what would you like to talk about today with Sports Shooting Stars?
I don't know. I just called in.
Okay.
Just called in, yeah.
What school district are you from?
Dallastown.
Okay, Dallastown. What school? What grade?
6.
Okay, cool. All right, I got a son that's in 7th grade, so I know you just starting middle school. And do you play any sports?
Yeah, I play basketball and volleyball.
I think that's a great thing for these young student athletes to play more than one sport. So, congratulations and shout out to you, Lindsay, for playing 2 sports and and tuning in to Sports Shooting Stars. Is there any games this year that that you really want to see?
I don't know. I really want to see the girls play, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we mentioned we have McCaskey and York High scheduled on the schedule, and also as a possible flex game, the Spring Grove Lady Rockets taking on potentially the Dallastown Lady Wildcats.
Yeah, and Dallastown, as you probably well know, Lindsay, won the county championship 2 years in a row now. So they're a team that you definitely want to feature. So we're going to have some girl games on there this year. So thanks for tuning in, Lindsay, and just watch the whole show, and we'll give you some feedback.
Well, should we throw out a trivia question?
Let's do a trivia question.
Let's
since
try
you won
one
the first
here.
one.
I mean, now are you a sports fan, Lindsay?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have a trivia question here. Let's see if you can answer this.
Oh, we listen. We know how Google works, so we know people can Google.
It's got to be quick.
Yes, you have about 10 seconds to answer this question.
First question. Okay, this Spring Grove alum, he graduated in 2017. He plays for the Michigan Wolverines and is a senior. He finished his high school career in York with 2,426 points. Who is that player?
Eli Brooks.
You got it.
Good.
You
Wow,
got it. She's on top
Eli
of it. So
Brooks.
that's $10 for you. Like I said, this, on our Sports Shooting Stars Facebook app, or just send us your contact information to our inbox, and we're going to send you a Cash App, or we can do a cash strictly give you cash as well. So make sure you give us your contact information so we can give that $10 to you. And that was a quick answer. She was ready for it. I don't think you needed to finish what you were saying. She was on top of it.
Yeah, we want to throw out some of the local sports trivia questions for our fans that are watching. So, and clearly Lindsay knows that's the answer to that.
Okay, Lindsay, you have an opportunity to win another $10. So here's the next question. We're going to do a girls-related question.
Okay.
Who has scored
Okay.
Who has scored the most points for the girls basketball in your county history? It's a tough one. It happened.
All-time leading scorer in girls.
In girls.
YIW, yes.
It happened in 2012.
There's a hint. It happened in 2012. You're on the clock. We'll give you 10 seconds here.
Anaya, I don't know, from Dallastown.
No, well, that would have been
that's a decent guess. Yeah.
Anaya Matthews, who's now playing at Temple. But no, that is not the correct answer.
Yeah, not the correct answer, but that's a good answer. But we're going to let you know it was Sierra Moore of DeLone Catholic back in 2012. At the end of her career, she scored over 2,595 points, close to 3,000 points. So, she did a great job for DeLone Catholic, and, she's been doing some great things as well
Awesome.
in college.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Lindsay, we thank you for calling in, and be sure to give us your information.
Do I put that on your page?
Yeah, you can put it on my page. Is called Do Jones. You can put it on my page and go ahead and put it on, this inbox me, or you can go to the Sports Shooting Stars page and inbox me, and we can get that cash to you, or we can just Cash App it to you.
Okay, so I just type you my number.
Yep, just put it right in the inbox, and I'll send you as soon as the show is over. We will send you the cash or a Cash App.
All right.
Hey, Lindsay, thanks a lot
Thanks
for tuning
calling,
in.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Good luck.
Take care. Thanks for calling. Happy New Year.
You too.
Bye-bye.
And also, we just want to reiterate, we'll get into the trivia part in maybe about 15, 20 minutes. We want to get into the schedule. We want to talk about players to watch, teams to watch, and, just a little bit of, what's going on with Sports Shooting Stars this year. And then towards the end of our segment, we will discuss, the sports trivia. So
Sports trivia. We're on for the next hour. We did mention I want to finish out our basketball schedule. It is tentative. It was a total of 13 games we have planned. We mentioned the New Oxford Colonials will be playing at the Central York Panthers in January 16th. Again, this schedule's somewhat fluid, so bear with us here. How about January 19th? The Central York Panthers take on the York High Bearcats in a big rivalry game. I have a feeling those two teams may be duking it out, if you will, in Division I this year.
I mean, every year Central versus York High is a game that everybody wants to watch. It's always competitive, and it can go either way. Sometimes they had swing games. One team wins one time, and then the next team wins the next time. So that game is definitely one that we have a lot of views on.
We move on to January 25th, the York Suburban Trojans versus Bishop McDevitt out of Harrisburg.
Yeah, Bishop McDevitt, I said York Suburban, they're on the come up, they're on the rise. They got a lot of young talent out there. Bishop McDevitt has Kenyon Elliott, used to play for the Nook Raiders as well.
Nook Raiders.
And a couple other AAU programs. He's a really good player. My son is familiar with him as well. So, he's one of the guys you need to look out for this year, Kenyon Elliott.
Kenyon Elliott. Also, January 27th, Columbia versus York High.
Yep.
Little battle between Lancaster and York County there in that matchup, too.
Yeah, and Columbia is coached by Kerry Glover, also the Nook Raiders coach for the AAU program. They have a lot of good players over there. Michael Poole Jr., also Braden Smith, and also Kerry's son, Kerry Glover Jr., averaging 13 points a game this year. And they have a junior that's on the rise. He didn't play at all last year because he had a broken leg, and that's Robert Footman Jr.
There you go. All the info here. You came prepared today.
Yeah, I got a little info.
Players here with Columbia across the river. Also, to be determine what date and time this is going to be, but this should be a big matchup: the Harrisburg Cougars versus Steel High.
Yeah, and I talked to Steel High's AD Willie Slade. He gave us a lot of good information. I didn't get all the details about the players, but Harrisburg and Steel High always has top-notch players, and that's a rivalry out of Harrisburg, out of the Mid-Penn area. And we're very blessed to go up there this year and film a couple Mid-Penn games. So they're getting acquainted to our program, and they welcome us up there.
Well, in Steel High, just recently today, news came out. Their 4-star athlete Makai Flowers, who plays basketball for Steel High, but is known for his football prowess, will be joining Penn State in the class of 2022.
Yeah, and again, Penn State's class for 2022 is going to be it's one of the top rated classes so far in college. So look out for Penn State to have a rebound year. They're not doing they didn't do as well this year, but I think that it's in the pipeline for them to come through and and have a great season.
Yeah, and of course in our area the class of 2022 will be led by quarterback Bo Perbola from Central New York.
And Bo's going to have a great opportunity to be a starter and get some major playing time in his first year there.
Also, moving into the month of February, the 3rd, J.P. McCaskey travels over here to Central York Panthers. We're going to have the Central York Panthers profiled a lot here during our season schedule. And then 2 days from that, February 5th, York Suburban and Eastern York.
Yep, and that's going to be another good game. Eastern York, coached by Justin Seitz is their coach. He always has a good he always has their players ready and prepared for each game. And like I said, York Suburban is another team we want to feature this year. And we didn't get a chance to have Eastern on the program in the last 2 years, so I'm really excited to see what Eastern brings to the table.
No doubt. And then, of course, February 9th, another Steel High matchup versus Susquehanna. Little Mid-Penn battle going on up north of here.
Again, that's another rivalry that Steel High has against Susquehanna, so that's going to be a great matchup. There's a couple AAU players on the tip of my tongue. I can't say their name right now, but there's a couple AAU players that play for both teams. And we definitely want to feature them. Again, we'll be in the Mid-Penn area this year, so, really excited about that. Even in the Lancaster Lebanon League with Columbia, we'll be over there doing some games. So, you have some of the returning, the usual suspects as far as who we feature, but we also got some new teams this year as well.
We do, and then possible flex games. We mentioned with Lindsay, she wanted to see some of the girls' action. Of course, possibly added to our schedule will be Spring Grove and Dallastown. And how about this in a boys' matchup here? York County Tech and York Catholic.
Yeah, and that's a game that, a little smaller market, but I think, like I said, the last time we did a York County Tech game, we had a lot of fun. The band was I think it was
a theme night. I think if I remember correctly, it was the 70s theme night that night that we were there, and well received we were. And York County School of Technology opened up the doors and rolled out the red carpet for our broadcast.
Yeah, they definitely did. So that's another team that we want to feature this year. Like I said, some of these teams, they're always getting new talent. And, kids are always, like I said, going from 9th to 10th grade and getting to that varsity level. So, you never know who's going to bust out and have a great year. So we want to try to feature everyone that we can.
We will. And let's talk about some of these players. I know we've talked about our game schedule, but some of the players to keep an eye on. And, again, we want to mention our phone line is open here on New Year's Day. 717-846-5067 if you want to reach out here. Sports Shooting Stars basketball preview as we're on. But go ahead,
Oh, yeah, well, we'll start off with some of the players to watch this year. Like I said, we'll just start off with our schedule that we have right now, and that's the first game with Reading versus York High. As we said before, Reading is coached by Rick Perez. Reading actually made it to the district championship last year. They won against Wilson, which they lost. But Reading also played Central York last year.
Yeah, we broadcasted that game from Central York.
That was a very intense game. Central York lost by 1 point. So it was it was a back and forth affair. But Rick Perez, as far as Reading's coach, he showed me a lot last year as far as keeping his team engaged and keeping his guys ready. So that's a team we definitely want to look out for. But for York High, they have Anton Beard Jr. He's going to be one of the guys to look out for. Also, Rasheem Lee.
Yeah, Rasheem Lee, 6'3", Rasheem Lee. They're both seniors, key players for York High Bearcats.
Yep, two-way players.
The loss of Clovis Gallen Jr.
Yeah, Clovis Gallen Jr. was their leading scorer last year. And as we said, Anton and also Rasheem, they both play football. So, these guys are active, in shape. And also want to give a shout out to Kelvin Matthews. He also plays for York High.
Bearcats.
And like I said, with York High, I think Clovis Gallen, their coach, he does a great job of keeping his guys ready, prepared, like I said before. And, it's always guys that step up in big ways for York High. So, definitely look out for those guys from York High.
York High, yeah. And we have some other players here. I mentioned Central. We keep talking about Central. They're going to be on our schedule this year. Central York has some players to keep an eye on. Nolan Hubbs, Taylor Wright Rawls, Judah Tome, and Karan Brown. Some guys that those names may sound familiar because of their football abilities. They're going to be transferring their football skills to the basketball court with the Central York Panthers.
Yeah,
under a new coach.
Yeah, under a new coach, Jeff Hoke, out of the Mid-Penn area. Jeff Hoke, this is his first year with Central York. And as you said, Central brings back a lot of returning starters. Well, actually returning players from last year. They went really far. They went into the States. I think they ended the season 20-5. As a lot of people know, last year, most of the teams' season got cut short because of COVID-19. So you never know how far some of these teams could have went. As just like New Oxford. New Oxford was, I think, 2 games away from the state championship, and unfortunately, they didn't have an opportunity to finish their season. So that's always going to be a season of what ifs as far as what New Oxford. So I feel really bad for those kids, man. But but they'll be bouncing back. They'll be back to play. This year they have a returning player, which is Connor Jenkins. Connor Jenkins, number 30, left-handed. Deadly shooter, can shoot way beyond the 3-point line. So you definitely got to pick him up by half court to play his type of basketball.
We've seen a couple threes from Connor Jenkins in a couple of our broadcasts here on Sports Shooting Stars. Certainly a player for New Oxford to keep an eye on. Let's move over to York Suburban Trojans. They're going to be led by their senior, Aiden Hewley, who last year averaged 17 points per game for York Suburban.
Yeah, Aiden Hughley. I think Aiden Hughley just signed with forgot the Division II team that he signed with as far as going to college. But Aiden Hughley is he's the key to that team right there. He's the glue to the team. York Suburban's also led by Camden Brewer.
The junior, who averaged 12 points last year per game.
Yep, and they also have a up and coming kid by Avant Sweeney. I think he's a 10th grader this year, so he should get some playing time. And this had not been confirmed, but I see Craig Egger is on here too. He's watching this as well. Hey, shout out to Craig and everybody that's watching right now. But I can't confirm this, but I heard that York Suburban may be losing one of their top players this year. So until I can confirm that,
Well, I don't know if you're speaking of a top player. I also had the sophomore Savon Sutton, who has been offered 2 D1 scholarships.
Yeah,
who had a great freshman year, is set to come back at least, and maybe that's who you're speaking of with York Suburban. But he's coming back as a sophomore. So York Suburban Trojans certainly a team in Division II to keep an eye on here in YIAA.
And just like with anything with these high school teams, if you lose one player, I mean, it really puts a dent into the program. But they can always bounce back. But there is some speculation that there may be the player from York Suburban that may not be returning this year and may be playing basketball elsewhere. So until we can confirm that, I'm not going to speak on it as much. But that's a team you guys got to look out for.
There you go. We mentioned Dallastown. They're led by 2 seniors, Michael Dixon and Jaden Green, who will be representing Dallastown this year. For Kennerdale, how about this senior Carter Day?
Yeah.
Who led all scores last year, averaging 23 points per game.
Yeah, Carter Day, like I said, listed at 5'9", but plays like he's 6'5".
No doubt
so
about it.
he puts on the show. I mean, I know a lot of fans that watch his games just come there just to watch him play because he plays top level basketball. I mean, he has hang time like you wouldn't believe. I see him do reverses all the time. We did the one game over at York Suburban.
Yeah, remember.
Where it went to double overtime. And it was a crazy game, and him and his brother were just shooting lights out, and York Suburban battled hard, and I believe Kennerdale walked away with that win.
Well, yeah, we've seen Kennerdale a couple times. They're not on our broadcast schedule. Maybe that's a game that they could get flexed in. Kennerdale for this upcoming year. Also, Red Lion senior Devontae Dennis, 6'6". You may know him from the basketball field, if you will, but he is also a dynamic basketball player.
Yeah, Devontae Dennis, great basketball player, play AAU as well, really good player, plays on the football team. Like I said, got Division I offers. I mean, he's been getting looks for the last 2 to 3 years.
Central Michigan, I believe, and UMass, I think, have offered him an opportunity to play football, D1 football.
Yeah,
6'6", he was 5th in scoring last year in YIAA, averaging 17 points per game.
Mm-hmm. And also, we want to York High girls. I have a couple names we want to shout out there. They're coached by Kevin Glover. This is his 3rd year coaching the girls. They're led by Alexis Jamison. I may say her name wrong. Yanaya. I'm just going to say Yanaya because I don't know how to say her last name. But you can look at it here. E-N.
Encarcion?
Encarcion, yeah. Yanaya Encarcion. And also Imani McMillan, which is my little cousin, Imani McMillan. She's going to do her thing. And also Imani Ferguson. So they're led by a lot of guards. Sabria Royal graduated last year from York High. She was the county's 2nd leading scorer. So, York High has a lot to fill in with her leaving. But, I think Kevin Glover is going to do a good job this year in getting the girls ready and getting them ready to compete.
And we have them on the schedule potentially, McCaskey at York High, the girls, and that's circle your calendars for January 9th. Again, this is a tentative schedule. We want to remind our viewers and fans that are tuned in here on New Year's Day, but they are penned in at least at this point for a broadcast.
Mm-hmm. And also for Harrisburg, I forgot to mention some of their key players, which is Avery Cloud Jr., also Janye Stanley, Manny Horn, and John McNeil. There's some of the returning starters that's going to be playing this year for Harrisburg. Keep an eye out for them because, Harrisburg's always in competition.
Oh, they are. And how about Central Dauphin led by Malachi Palmer? He's a freshman. You want to keep an eye on if you're going to be watching some players. Want to look for some players that maybe could get to that next level. A freshman, highly talented, has trained with, remember, Chance Westry, who was with Trinity and now is at Sierra Canyon.
No, I think Sierra Canyon, but they changed their name to California CBC. I think it's California Boys. Man, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I know they changed their name to CBC.
He's a teammate of LeBron James' son.
LeBron James' son, yep. Mm-hmm. And also, like I said, Palmer was also featured on Slam Magazine. So, he's getting some heavy looks and a lot of people that want him to be on his team. And he's going to get a lot of looks for the next couple of years.
Central Dauphin, freshman, keep an eye on there. And of course, if you remember, Susquehannock had a player a couple years ago, Jerace Walker, who's now with IMG Academy, doing phenomenal thing. 6'8", 225 pounds. I mean, just amazing athlete if you get a chance to see Jerace Walker in IMG Academy. I believe, is he a junior or senior? I think this year.
I think this year he's going to be a junior. I think he's a junior this year. So I mean, he's going there. I mean, he has the body of an NBA player. So it's amazing to see how these kids grow so fast, man.
It is incredible. Again, we mentioned our governor lifting the ban, if you will, or order, so teams can start practice on Monday. The earliest any games, from it's my understanding, will be either Friday, January 8th or January 9th. The players will be required to wear masks while competing in game action. Unlike what you see right now with college basketball taking place. They do not have to wear a mask, but on the flip side, there's no fans in the stands. It's my understanding crowds will be much smaller. The York Adams League is limiting fan attendance to just home fans, and attendance will be severely limited to meet state restrictions. It's my understanding, so it'll be interesting to see just how many people will be allowed inside a gymnasium. It's not like football where we can go out. It's not like we live in the state of Florida or Arizona right now where we can kind of take the show outside.
Yeah, and like states like Texas, you see fans still in the stands because, you know, places like Texas, they're never going to stop playing sports because football is everything down there.
Yep.
So, you know, hopefully, like I said, in, you know, 2021, like a lot of these bans and, you know, COVID and everything that really ruined 2020 can, you know, be replaced and we can have a successful
season. And that was really a brutal, I mean, with the COVID-19, it's probably affected all of us in some way, whether it's directly or indirectly. It's serious business. We hope maybe with the vaccine that things for 2021 will get resolved to some extent, and we can kind of move forward with our lives, just not sports, but lives in general, you know, have been impacted, whether it's been with work, social scenes as well.
School especially
for the students.
Even kids that's not, you know, student athletes. I mean, you know, with schools being shut down and going virtual, you know, we think that, you know, you're not really probably getting the full experience of being in school and the whole school atmosphere. So hopefully that can get back for the younger kids and especially these seniors. I think it's very important for seniors to have an opportunity to display their talents and, you know, get an opportunity to go out there and play.
Yeah, whether it's on the field, on the court, or in the classroom, you get 4 years. You don't get a chance to come back for a redshirt freshman year, you know what I mean, in high school. So it's really frustrating. But you mentioned it, too. I think it's key to allowing the students to get back into the classroom. That's where they learn best, and versus online. And we hope that with 2021, they can move in that direction.
Absolutely. And even, like I said, we're trying to do some research and look up, you know, what the max preps and trying to look up some different teams and things like that. And everything's not updated because for whatever reason, I think it may be COVID related, you know, everything's not updated. But, you know, we have the power rankings from last year. You know,
you want to talk to the viewers a little bit about that? And while you're doing that, we invite your calls at 717-846-5067 if you'd like to call in, talk some sports. We mentioned some players to keep an eye on. Maybe you know one or two to keep an eye on, whether it's from the boys or girls league, and then we'll throw you a trivia question. How
Absolutely.
About it, as we are on the hour for what would have been another half an hour?
Yeah, we're out here, like I said, doing our thing, and also, like, you know, oh, I'm sorry about the power ranking. Oh, I'm sorry. What I want to say, because everything we do is live, so a lot of things going through my head. But what I want to say was also the sponsors. You know, if you guys are interested in sponsoring, you know, with Sports Shooting Stars, you know, we put your logo on TV. We do a lot of, you know, we put your logo on the flyer. We try to do a lot of talk up as far as your company and what you got going on. So if you're interested in sponsoring as well, please call us up. You know, hit us on Instagram or, you know, on our inbox page or whatever the case is. You know, we can work with pretty much any budget, but, you know, we try to have sponsorships to help us, you know, offset some of our camera costs, you know, traveling fees or whatever it may be, just to keep the program
and
going.
The talent acquisition, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got it. You got it.
That part,
you got it. Right. So, you know, like I said, you know, this year we're going to try to expand a little bit more, go to the Mid-Penn area, feature some different teams. So, you know, it's going to be different markets. So if you're interested in, you know, local advertising with us,
reach out to us on social media. Of course, I want to say hello to our broadcast partner from time to time, Brandy Show, who's probably celebrating New Year's, maybe with pork and sauerkraut. I don't know. That seems to be a tradition in this area. How about it,
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I know we had our meal before coming into the studio. I actually had hog maw. Are you familiar with hog maw?
I heard about it.
I had gotten a hog maw and made up a small hog maw, and of course my family, I was the only one eating it. That just means more leftovers for me.
It is.
Yeah, so it's
very nice, very nice.
I'd be curious to know too, with our viewers that are tuned in and fans, what did your New Year's Eve look like? Did you know, with social distancing and a lot of the events were really virtual online?
Yeah. What's some big games today with the college football?
I'm glad you mentioned that, dude. Two big ones. We're kind of like the warm-up act.
Right.
These two games coming up. Do you care to talk to the viewers a little bit about the big games coming up. Notre Dame
versus Alabama.
Alabama.
And we have Clemson versus
The Ohio State
Ohio
University.
State.
Yes, the Ohio State University. Two big games, and it's if you're a college football fan, this time of the year is really a big time for you because it's been bowl week, and I think there was a bowl game going on before I came in here with the Georgia Bulldogs, the Peach Bowl.
And it's raining today. I mean, it's not much to do. It's New Year's Day. I mean, you can chill, sit in the house, order pizza, eat your food, or whatever. Like you said, sauerkraut,
pork and sauerkraut. I'm not a big pork and sauerkraut fan, but although I remember my mother making dumplings. Do you remember dumplings?
Yeah, I do.
And she never measured it out. It wasn't an exact science. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But they always came out great. I've tried to make them. My wife's tried to make them. They just don't come out quite the way Mom used to cook.
Right.
You know? I mean, it just...
Yeah, Mom always has that special touch that, nobody can really duplicate. So I understand where you're coming from with that. Hey, we also want to tell the fans, when you guys tune in, hey, you want to give us your College Bowl predictions? Go ahead and do that as well.
Yeah, let's do that as well. The phone lines are open. We'll be on for probably the next 30 minutes. I think we can talk it up for the next 30 minutes. How about it, do?
And we do this for the fans. Like I said, we want to keep you guys engaged. We know with the sports, not being with the COVID and everything, with it not being consistent, we want to make sure we show the fans that we're being consistent. We're following everything that's going on,
and our hope is maybe to try to offer this show, if not once every other week, maybe once a month. Come in studio, take some of your calls, and talk about our season as it progresses.
Right, and we have the opportunity to use both studios. Right now we're in a small studio, but when we feature players or the coaches, we have another studio that's going to give us different angles that we can also use. So that's on the horizon, and we plan on doing a bi-weekly show or, like you said, once a month. But just real quick, guys, to get into the power rankings, according to March of 2020 of last year. And it's a little weird because I went to Max Preps and I didn't see Wilson on there. And I'm wondering why I didn't see Wilson. Or Wilson wasn't on there, and they should have been on there.
Stevie Mitchell, if I
Stevie
remember.
Mitchell.
Big score for the Reading. Wilson Bulldogs.
Yeah, Stevie Mitchell, who he's also ranked number 5 in the state right now, Pennsylvania. So Stevie Mitchell, shout out to him. He's going to have we'll have an opportunity to see him this year, I'm pretty sure, at some point. But power rankings so far, they have Central York at 20-5 for the boys.
The boys.
Central York, their record last year, they were 20-5. Central York is number 1. Number 2, they have New Oxford, 26-5. New Oxford, as we said before, were 2 games away from the state championship. They have Milton Hershey,
which we profiled last year. Remember the Milton Hershey team?
Yeah, they
came down to York High.
Yeah, and that was a great game. If I'm not mistaken, I think that game went to overtime.
I believe so. Back and forth matchup between the two teams.
I think
Para was our player of the game.
Player of the game,
yes.
Right. Yeah. Really, really stout. Big man. He plays strong. But Milton Hershey at number 3. They have Central Dauphin at number 4 at 22-7. They have Trinity at number 5 at 22-3. Now Trinity might fall off a little bit without having Chance Westry on the lineup.
Who was averaging 30 points a game last year per game. Yeah, they have a slight drop off there at Trinity.
And also number 6 is Bishop McDevitt at 22-7. Like I said before, led by Kenyon Elliott. William Penn, York High at 20-9 at number 7.
Who's led by head coach Clovis Gallen. Coming back for another season.
And number 8 is Cedar Crest out of Lebanon at 18-5. Cumberland Valley out of Mechanicsburg at 18-5. They're listed at number 9.
Always a perennial strong school. Whatever sport they play, I mean, they always do. There's just a huge school there with Cumberland Valley. A huge pool of athletes they can pick from.
CV, big school. Also number 10 is Lancaster Catholic out of Lancaster. Their last year record was 27-4. They're number 10. And this a team that honorable mention is Harrisburg is listed at number 12 at 16-11 last year.
Harrisburg Cougars. Another team to keep an eye on in the Mid-Penn Division. And I know some fans may be checking in wondering with Central. We mentioned the 4 key players for Central, and we did not mention Bo Perbola, who is recovering from a broken bone in his foot. Will not be playing basketball this year. In the past couple of years, we've seen him on the basketball court, his athletic ability, taking the time to rest his injury so he can come back for his senior year with Central York next fall.
Yeah, and that 11th, 12th grade range, that's when you see players really blossom and come into who they're going to be. So, not having Bo Perbola on the Central York's basketball team this year is going to hit them a little bit, but I think they have enough talent to keep it going. But that's also, it's still going to take a hit not having Bo on that team because he's 6'3", he plays the 4, he plays the 3, and he's a big body down
He
there.
is,
and,
under the net.
He's a jumper. He can dunk the ball. So I know a lot of teams are very fortunate that they don't have to face.
They're going to be happy not
with that team.
Bo Perbola play on the hardwood floor and rest up for his final football season next year with Central.
Want to say a shout out to Sean Measley. He said he's looking forward to the season, and he said we do awesome coverage, and thanks for all the work, and we appreciate you tuning in tonight. We really do appreciate
this afternoon,
that.
Yeah, on New Year's Day, in between maybe one's meals being cooked at home. Not a lot of entertainment options out there. We hope we can provide that for you this Friday for an hour on the air. Whether you're watching it on the YouTube page or Facebook Live, we welcome you, and we welcome your calls at 717-846-5067. The phone lines are kind of quiet. Maybe they're eating a lot of the pork and sauerkraut and dumplings here.
Well, we want to also mention, I think, if you look at the lower third, the phone number is 717-846-5067. Lindsay already called in. She did. She won her $10 already. So, we have some trivia questions for you guys. So anybody can call in.
It's a cash card, right? So it could be $10 anywhere for Lindsay. I mean, she may be a Starbucks fan.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said,
maybe a shopper at the mall.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Starbucks is a big thing for these young kids.
It's amazing. I can only say that on my behalf for my daughters. They love going there, and they've created this college with Starbucks. The business is incredible. I mean, have you drove by one of these? I mean, their drive-through's busy. I mean,
it's crazy.
Their apps. I mean, to create a product like that, it's just amazing that they've obviously reached a level of high success. Whether you like their product or not. I mean,
yes, absolutely. And like I said, things like Starbucks and other places like that, these are sponsors that we want to try to reach out to
eventually,
as well. Because our goal is to get the national sponsor. Or, we appreciate all the sponsors, local.
Yeah, let's thank some of the sponsors. I mean, some of the sponsors that we've had on from Integrity Home Buying to
Parma's Pizza. We also had a lot of real estate agents. The sponsor was this year. We had Prestige Motor Cars of York. We also have Greg Basil Insurance Company. There's so many out there that's probably gonna go right over my head.
A long laundry list. Yes,
S3 Performance Training,
S3
of course.
With John Turpak.
They always came back. And
I did run into the owner of Parma's Pizza, Dennis Bonaquisti, the other week. Darren, excuse me. He was there working, heavily involved in the community. I had asked him how his business was affected with the COVID-19, and he reiterated to me that most of his business is carry out. And as you know, if you've visited any of these restaurants in the area, their business, like a lot of the business, is very busy. So and heavily involved in the community with different charitable operations that Parma Pizza.
And we also want to give a big shout out to all our sponsors last year. We know that COVID-19 put a dent in a lot of their businesses and things like that, but they still reached out to us and made sure that we had enough to keep the season going and things like that. So thank you to all the sponsors. Like I said, we're going to try to do some type of video montage or something like that coming up with Cade Burnett, and also
with the sponsors. And
with
Cade,
the sponsors.
If you haven't followed Cade Burnett, our videographer, I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. This kid, he's on the rise. A great talent with his videography work. I could see him putting one of those together with our sponsors. It would it'd be amazing. Great work, just like he's done all season long.
And
for
even
us.
Ian Milley, Kevin McGurn, of course Belinda Morales. She's probably tuning in right now. She filmed.
Happy New Year, Belinda. Yeah, she's not. We're normally used to seeing her here behind the camera. Not here today. A stationary camera here in studio. It's just the two of us. Our producer Cliff Kern. We want to thank him who was here. He was here to set up our initial show as we popped the cork on the first show.
This is our first show, guys. We see people tuning in.
And Lindsay was our first caller.
She won some money.
Ever.
And also I see that Kevin Glover just tuned in, which is York High's girls basketball coach. We did speak a little bit about the girls game coming up this year and some featured players. So thanks for tuning in. And we can't wait to get there and feature some girl games.
Well, I'm going to throw out a trivia question. A little hint here, York High Bearcat. This 1990 York High alum finished her career with 2,175 points. I believe this was the first player in YAIAA to ever reach that milestone. Yes. Fitzky. She played 2 seasons at Division I Farley Dickinson. After college, a heart condition prevented her from trying out for the WNBA. Do you know the answer to that question? Little hint there with the York High Bearcats. The phone line is open at 717-846-5067. As we're on for a couple more minutes, we got a few trivia questions, and love to throw that out to our fans that are tuned in. Came up with a list of some local sports trivia questions that But maybe people are just celebrating Happy New Year, New Year's Day today.
Yeah,
too.
and also we want you guys to tune in. Call in, give us your predictions as far as who you think's going to make it to the county championship. I know last year.
Now, are they having the county championship? It's my understanding. I'm not sure if they're going to have. Are they? I hope they do, because York College has hosted,
right,
and we've been part of it for
the
last
last 3
several
years.
years. It's been a phenomenal run with a first game. Remember, with the Northeastern Bobcats and Antonio Rizzuto, just an incredible half-court shot at halftime. I remember, and we've been there, and we hope they do. It was my understanding, and the reason I posed that question to you, they may jump in similar to how the football season worked with districts and just go to states with a limited schedule. But you may have more insight. Go ahead.
Yeah, they have some things going on. As you said, I think the district playoff seating is a lot different this year. I think it's you have to win all your games to make it to the districts, or to make it to states. Like I said, it's a ever-changing platform that they got going on, and we're trying to keep up with PIAA. But we'll keep you listed and posted as it changes. So,
and I have a feeling this schedule that we have here on the table, this may change a couple more times between now and then. The unfortunate part is we're kind of still heading into the meat of our winter season here in the greater York, Pennsylvania area. It's not like we're heading into March or April, where I think it would. I feel a bit more optimistic with the potential to have a lot of the games outside,
right,
like we did with the football season.
And just to go back to the YouTube live feed right now, a lot of the fans are tuning in, and they have an answer for you, Todd.
They have an answer?
They're saying Barb DeShields.
It is, yes,
it's Barb
DeShields. Yeah, well, really the first player, I believe, again, in YIAA history ever to reach 2,000 points.
Yeah, Barb
actually. It's been surpassed. You mentioned in one of the trivia questions, Lindsay went 1 for 2 on, but it was Sierra Moore from DeLone Catholic who surpassed her.
And just to piggyback on that, Sierra Moore from DeLone Catholic back in 2012, at the end of her career, she scored 2,595 points. And then you have Autumn Lau. Out of Northeastern in 2009, she scored 2,304 points. Then you also have Lauren Beckley from Fairfield. Back in 2006, she scored 2,258 points. And then we have Barb. She's number 4 in the all-time list. She's now
number 4, but at one point she was number 1. I mean, she was just that dynamic of a player for York High.
Yeah, and Barb ended up her career with 2,175 points, and she graduated in 1990. And also want to give a quick shout-out to Katie Strand from York Catholic.
Another York, yep.
2011, she ended her career with 2,162 points. So, these females, these girls are ballers. So,
oh, no doubt. It's
time.
An impressive feat typically to reach 1,000 in your high school career, let alone 2,000. And I think you may know a couple that scored 3,000. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember a name? Go ahead, we'll throw that.
Yeah, we have a couple players in here that scored over 3,000 points.
I remember one from the 80s, and I don't know if our viewers are tuned in or thinking of it. This particular player, I'll give you a hint, went to Carlisle. And there was never a day, I think, that went by in the news or the newspaper, our local newspaper, that during the basketball season that he was not profiled. But he was a dynamic player, over 3,000 points scored. Maybe we'll throw that out too.
Right. And to win this money, like I said, for the sports trivia, you guys got to call in. So because you can Google at home.
Oh, I know.
So once you call in, we'll ask you the question, and then you have an opportunity to answer the question, and you can win some money. So
yeah, it used to be a lot different. If viewers, I'm going to go back in the day when, if you remember, a local call-in show, a guy by the name of Kurt Hart on WSBA radio would throw out a lot of sports trivia. But of course, this was well before the days of online and Google searching, and he'd always throw some curveballs, no pun intended. He was a big basketball and baseball fan, particularly. He would always throw out a lot of sports trivia to the callers. But yeah, now it's made a little easier with the modern technology to kind of cheat a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, everything's at a touch of a button right now, so they get things done fast, a lot faster than we used to do back in the day.
It should go without saying here as we wind down our first show here of the new year. What teams do you think are going to be competing?
Yeah, we want to know.
At the top of the list, really. I mentioned it earlier. I believe Central York and York High are going to be battling it out in Division I play. I'm sure York Catholic and DeLone Catholic, for that matter, are going to be in the thick of things, particularly on the girls' side.
Yep. Hey, and real quick, I think that York High, Central York, New Oxford,
York Suburban,
York Suburban. I think that's going to probably be the top 4 teams in Division I this year. But like I said, any team can pop out and do their thing. As far as making to the county championship. And I just want to say real quick, some of these people that's watching, go ahead and call in because we got a couple questions. I know Carrie's watching. DeMar just came on.
Shy.
Come on and call in. We got a couple questions we want to ask you.
I mean,
some trivia, and if you get it right, you make some money. It all works out.
What a way to start off the new year with a little couple extra dollars in your pocket, right?
And also for the girls side, I believe that Dallastown has a great opportunity to return again for the third time.
Well, yeah, they go for the three-peat. They're back-to-back county champions. Will they be able to carry that on for a three-peat? And no Anaya Matthews, but I do believe they're led by a junior coming back. Remember?
Oh man,
Deshante Edwards, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Who started as a freshman, was really a freshman phenom, and she was teamed up with Anaya Matthews, all 6'3" of her now is a Temple Owl.
Yeah, absolutely. And also Spring Grove, they're going to return again.
And Central York, the York Panthers should.
Yep.
Lady Panthers should be
of course,
as well.
Yeah, they did very well in the districts last year. Again, Spring Grove is led by their coach Troy Sowers, who also used to be a coach for York High.
York High.
Years back, many years ago, I know he coached our 7th, 8th grade team when I played. I played along with Trey Mechanic and some other people, and he was our coach.
So he's been around.
He's been around for a long time. Yeah, he has. And his Sowers, the family has a strong line in York County. So there's some good guys. So shout out to Troy Sowers and also Dallastown's coach Jay
Rexroth.
Yeah.
Longtime coach there. He coached the boys at one point, and now has been successful coaching the girls team.
Yep.
And as they gear up for another season here, and at this point it's tentative, I know, but we're planning to move forward here with a broadcast schedule and practices. Again, I believe the earliest a game will be played is next Friday or next Saturday. It's my intel's telling me. So again, that's fluid with the whole COVID-19 situation. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, the ban is lifted with the governor on January 4th, so everybody can get back into the gym. And I know these kids can't wait to get back into the gym.
Whether it's school, as you said, or the gym for your mental and physical well-being. How about restaurants, small businesses in the area are able to reopen and try to make a go of it again under these difficult times for a lot of people. And I think we've all, as we mentioned, all been affected directly or indirectly due with COVID-19.
And some of these players and some of these teams that we mentioned, I see Teddy Holloran. He's
West York Bulldog.
Yeah, he mentioned Scott Dahl, 3-point specialist, Brian Pearl, and like I said, Teddy,
Brian Pearl,
come on and call in. We got some questions for you because we had some trivia questions that has to do with Scott Dahl and Brian Pearl and some other players like that too. So just come on and call in.
Remember the rivalry between York Catholic and York High?
Oh man,
those two schools. Well, real well. It always seemed to come down to those two schools,
right?
In the early the 80s and the early 90s, led by I believe Coach Mike Kesey from York Catholic, right?
Right.
And Preston, help me out with York High.
Keenan Preston.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Family member of mine.
Family member, and kind of reminded you of the late John Thompson. Remember?
Okay. Yeah.
Remember John Thompson was all
Temple.
6'10" of Georgetown.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about Cheney. I was thinking about Cheney. John Cheney.
John Cheney. Yes. Another long time. Yeah, John Cheney. Rolly Massimino from Villanova, if you remember.
Yep.
Back in the day. He has some coaches, but yeah, John, he certainly had a presence about it. 6'10", he kept a lot of the players in line. Even remember AI was down there with him. Yeah,
and AI looked at him as a father figure. You know what I'm saying? So John Thompson is a legend. His son actually coaches as well. Yep. You know what I mean? Like junior. So shout out to the Thompson family.
Georgetown led by Patrick Ewing.
Oh man, that's
crazy. We all know Patrick Ewing's prowess.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Just a side subject. Last year Georgetown went through some issues. A lot of players left their program for some reason. About 3 of their top players left their program. So I got to look into that a little bit, see what's going on with Georgetown.
Yeah, Georgetown's always been a prestigious school academically. Right. There's a program under John Thompson. And, of course, why wouldn't you want to play under Patrick Ewing? I'm not sure,
the program of Georgetown.
The program of Georgetown and playing under, Patrick Ewing,
but
Hall of Famer.
But even as you said with the York High and York Catholic rivalry, it's not where it used to be. But I remember back in the day, man, that was like, standing room only almost, man, especially at York Catholic.
And York, it's a small gym to begin with. So it's standing room only in there. It would be hotter than hot in the middle of the winter, and just big rivalry games between those two schools. Yeah, and Brian Pearl, who ended up having a collegiate career at the University of Delaware.
Yeah, he had a great career over at Delaware. I'm gonna throw out a trivia question because the phone lines ain't.
Yeah, phone lines are calling. Maybe
who is the boys' all-time leading scorer in Pennsylvania? All-time leading scorer in Pennsylvania. Do anyone know this person's name? Who's the all-time leader scorer in Pennsylvania? I'll give y'all a hint. He played between 1994 and 1998, and in 115 games, he averaged 33.3 points a game.
That's putting up a lot of points.
Yeah, he went to go play basketball over at West Virginia.
University of West Virginia, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about earlier. Nobody called in, but you mentioned.
Well, Lindsay called in. Lindsay
did call
Lindsay
in.
Called
Yes,
in.
she was our opening caller. But I threw out the name from the '80s, a big basketball player from Carlisle. Gave the hint, but Billy Owens.
Yep.
That's who we're talking. Billy Owens.
Kerry got it. Kerry Glover got that
I'm
one.
sure. Yeah. Nearly 3,300 points and a 4-time state champ on the high school level. Billy Owens. I believe he teamed up at one point with. Remember Jeff Lebo? Because his dad, I believe, Jeff Lebo's dad was the head coach of the Carlisle Thundering Herd back in the 80s. But who Jeff Lebo ended up going to the University of North Carolina.
Wow.
If you remember?
Yeah.
And I believe just a couple years ago, Billy Owens' son
I've
played
seen
from
that.
a school
Yeah.
in Philly that went up against Northeastern over at West York High School.
I remember
because
that.
Billy was there, and I remember chit-chatting with Billy. He was a big sports star back in the 80s. If you were from this area, there wasn't, like I said, a news telecast that didn't profile Billy Owens and his athletic abilities.
Absolutely, yeah. Billy Owens is a legend in Pennsylvania, and like I said, Carlisle, is where he got his roots
Who
from.
I believe is the number 3 leading scorer in the state.
In the state of Pennsylvania, Billy Owens is at number 3.
We're looking for number 1, as you mentioned.
Right, and Billy Owens scored over 3,299 points between the years of '85 and '88, and he went on to play for Syracuse and was drafted by the Golden State Warriors.
And had a rather lengthy NBA
Absolutely.
career. He was a dynamic high school and even college player, and then went into the NBA and
also
for a few years.
And also, I want to give a shout out to my alma mater, which is York High. We also have some trivia questions for York High, but I also want to give a shout out to some players that played over there that I played with personally, which is Trey Mechanic, and also Brandon DeShields. Trey ended up scoring at the end of his career 1,090 points, and Brandon DeShields ended up having 1,089 points. And I don't know who I was talking. I don't know if it was it was Brandon, and Brandon told me he did that on purpose. Now he said this. I don't know if it's true. He said he purposely didn't try to break Trey's record. Trey had 1090. He had 1089. So and they were very close. They considered each other brothers, and also with DeMar Lopez, so they consider each other brothers. So shout out to them. And also I want to give a shout out to Colin C.J. Smith. In 2012, he had 1,078 points. We want to send our condolences to CJ's family and also Trey Mechanic. They were amazing players and had an untimely demise, but their numbers will be there forever.
Oh, they'll be there, yep. And they're on the wall there at the historic venue.
No doubt. Like I said, a lot of talent coming out of there.
And we do have some other York High trivia. Bearcat, this 1980 alum, played football, basketball, and volleyball. Went on to the University of Pitt. Can you name who this is? We'll throw that out.
We're just going to throw it out there.
And then another big York High trivia question here of sorts, going back to the 80s. 2 York High Bearcats went on to Penn State University. Can you name them? We'll see if there's some stuff out there and see if our fans that are tuned in here on New Year's Day. We thank you for tuning in, which is the start of maybe something you'll be seeing a little more regularly. If not here in studio, we're hoping to be at the Hardwood here at some point with our first game in 2021 deal.
Yeah, we can't wait. Like I said, also want to give a shout out to John Turpak. He also comes in and he's our guest commentator as well. Like you said, with Brandy Shope. We plan on bringing some more people involved this year. Spread it out a little bit. So shout out to John Turpak of S3 Performance Training. Brandy Shope. She's over at West York.
West York Bulldog,
Yep, absolutely.
Part of the West York family there. Brandy Shope, John Turpak, a Central York Panther, his son. And he filled in for me, I believe, about a year ago when I had the pleasure of emceeing a collegiate wrestling event down in Red Lion between Lock Haven and the U.S. Navy, which was a great event. And John Turpak filled in.
And I'm also going to throw out another trivia question that I know a lot of people may know the answer to, but there's 2 brothers over at York High that scored over 1,000 points. And if anybody can tell me who those 2 brothers are that scored over 1,000 points,
each of them.
Call in right now. Like I said, and let us know the answer to that, and we'll shoot you some money over.
Yeah, we're throwing some questions out. A lot of top heavy with the York High Bearcats.
But also, Todd, I think we should get into who do you think is going to make it to the district championship this year? I know that Wilson's returning champion so far. Redding's always up there.
I would think Wilson Bulldogs, led by Stevie Mitchell, would have to be one of the teams within our region. In our area here, I think the district teams that we mentioned it, York High has that chance. Central York, I believe York Suburban as well will have an opportunity to make districts.
And also Reading, you got to keep an eye out for Reading. They're returning everybody from last year. They were a junior heavy team, and they made it to the district championship.
And they'll all be seniors this year, led by their head coach Rick Perez. definitely keep an eye out for the Reading Red Knights and the Wilson Bulldogs, led by Stevie Mitchell, who I believe is attending Marquette University. I was surprised. Yeah,
Wow.
I saw.
Well, that's where Dwayne Wade, right? Dwayne Wade came from Marquette.
I believe so. Maybe our viewers can
Yeah,
help.
like I said, I think Dwayne Wade came from
Stevie
Marquette.
Mitchell going to Marquette University, and he had been highly sought after by several colleges.
I have a Kobe trivia question as well. Kobe, from of course from Lower Maryland.
Lower Marion, outside Philly.
Outside Philly. Central York actually played against Lower Maryland last year in a tournament and lost by I think 6 points. They're a very good team. It's very cool to go to Lower Marion School because they actually have Kobe's jersey there as well, and they have a lot of respect for Kobe.
Oh, the phone line's heating up here.
Here's one. You got it, Ty.
Let's go to it. Sports Shooting Stars, Todd Edwards. Welcome. Hello.
Get the speaker.
Good. How's it going?
Good.
Hey.
What's your name?
Alexis.
Alexis.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Go ahead. What do you like to talk about today in the closing minutes of our program here, Alexis?
I was just wondering, are you basing off your season just around basketball, or you have other sports or anything like that?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we've talked many a times of delving into other sports, particularly with the winter season coming up, wrestling, high school wrestling. But prior to this, in the fall, I think there was a lot of interest with high school volleyball, girls volleyball, and boys volleyball for that matter. What would you like to see?
Regarding this winter?
Yeah, in terms of sports coverage,
just in general,
basketball and football. What sports would you like?
If we're able to get back into practicing and everything, I would say maybe just wrestling or different viewpoints that people are interested in that might not get as much coverage as normal or other sports per se.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's a great idea.
I mean, we know with football and basketball, those seem to be the two top sports that a lot of people watch. But don't underestimate high school wrestling in this area, and also volleyball. I mean, volleyball is very popular amongst the girls and boys around here. Boys will come up with the spring season, but we just came off the heels of fall season with volleyball. Hey, while we have you on the line, would you like to take part in some trivia questions?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw one at you here. This 2011 Dallastown alum went to Penn State University to play linebacker at Happy Valley. Let's see if you know who this individual. He did not go on beyond football at Penn State playing in the NFL, but he had a standout career at Dallastown. And believe it or not, I believe he was the first freshman to play football at Dallastown and was a 4-year starter in football, also played basketball and track and field. Do you know who this player is?
You said goes to Dallastown.
Went to Dallas. He graduated 2011, so 10 years ago, an alumni from Dallastown.
So, let me think here.
Well, don't think too far. We're going to give you about 10 seconds here.
How about, let me think. Okay, I have a guess. Is it Ben, his first name? Does that sound familiar? And then Ben Klein, maybe?
Ben Klein, it is.
Hey, she got it.
For real?
Yeah,
Impressive.
you got it. You got it.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, Ben Klein. And like I said, how we get this cash to you, you can go to our social media site, which is Sports Shooting Stars. Inbox us your Cash App name or your any way we can contact you, and you'll receive the money today. But since you got that right, let's go ahead and ask you another question. If you don't mind, what school district are you in?
I'm from Dallastown.
Oh, you're from Dallastown.
Well, there you go.
There it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
I've seen things on the boards sometimes and stuff like that in the hallways and all that.
Hey, that's good to be observative about your surroundings. That's a great. Hey, won you some money today, right?
$10.
Yeah, so you have a chance to win another $10. So let me see if I can find a Dallastown. Okay, I got one.
Okay.
I got you. Okay, you may have seen this in your school as well.
Okay.
All right, who is the all-time leading scorer for Dallastown boys basketball?
Boys basketball.
You got 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yep, you're on the clock. Go.
Is it Braden Caldwell, maybe?
Great guess, but it's not Braden Caldwell. So I'm going to hold off on giving the answer to that to the end of the program. But it's not Braden Caldwell. But that's still a good guess. And we thank you for tuning in. And also, you spoke of wrestling and other areas of sports. What game or what wrestling match are you interested in us filming?
I just noticed there's a lot of rivalries between like Dallastown or like Spring Grove.
Right.
Or like there's like a big rivalry there, I feel like.
Okay.
And that draws a lot.
All right. Yeah, we're writing those notes down. And what grade are you in?
I'm in 10th.
Okay, sophomore. And you play sports as well?
Yeah, I do.
What sport?
I play basketball, like intramural, like small stuff like that.
Okay,
But,
cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we really appreciate you you tuning in, and go ahead and go to Sports Shooting Stars or even Do Jones and give me your Cash App information in the inbox, and we'll make sure we get that money to you. And just keep an eye out for Sports Shooting Stars. We're doing games this year, and we can't wait to get the games out to you guys.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
Happy New Year.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye. There we go, dude.
Yeah, I think we got another caller coming in. My youngest son said he might call in, so we'll see. I don't know if the phone lines were busy or not.
Well, hey, speaking of which, yeah, let's go to it. Sports Shooting Stars with Todd Edwards and Dew Jones. Go ahead. Hello. Yeah, go ahead. Welcome.
I was wondering if you guys are still having the trivia questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Now, what's your name to start off?
Ryan?
Okay. All right. This must be RB, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good, man.
Trivia.
You gotta be what? You gotta be quick with this
Well,
guy.
we mentioned about 10 seconds.
Yeah, we gotta be quick with this
we
guy.
just give him 5 seconds.
Yeah, you gotta be quick
Answer.
with him. Okay. How about this? Give me the all-time leading scorer for your Kai.
You may have stumped
Oh,
him.
are
may
you
have
getting
stumped
punched on or something? What's
Yeah,
all these
what-
noises?
us. Too much to drink over New Year's Eve here or what? I mean,
I don't know this one. I'm just gonna go with
5,
4.
4,
Clovis.
3, 2, 1. Okay. Good job, but it's not Clovis. Clovis, like I said, former All-American nominee, Clovis Gallen
Clovis
Jr. Great pick for Clovis because, like I said, Clovis does put up a lot of big points, but it's not Clovis. But I'll give you the answer towards the end of the program of who the all-time leading scorer is.
How about another one? I'll give him another
I got one for him too. Go ahead, you got it.
How about that? This York County resident is just one of 13 athletes to play in both Major League Baseball and the NBA. Just one of 13. You've heard about.
Shield.
Well, think about it. You've heard of players playing like basketball and football, but basketball
And baseball.
and baseball
It's different.
professionally. Yes.
Professional.
And he lives here in York.
Lives here in York.
Yes, that's your hint. We'll give you 10 seconds. You're
He's
on the clock.
a little older fella, so
I mean, he's
a little slightly.
slightly, yeah, but he played late 90s through the 2000s with baseball and NBA. But yes, go ahead. That's your
Michael
hint.
Jordan.
Who?
That was a good one. Michael Jordan did play both
He
sports,
did.
but he's not from Pennsylvania. This has
Yeah.
to be guys from Pennsylvania.
It was kind of a little bit of a local flavor. 46-year-old Mark Hendrickson, who's involved in real estate. You may have seen it, Major League Properties. One of just 13 players, like 6'9". And by the way, I've gone golfing with. He can golf as well. I think
Oh,
he's
wow.
one of the athletes. Just play any sport, even down to table tennis, and do it well. That's Mark. But yeah.
Well, somebody actually got that online.
Did they? Okay.
Tom Adolph. You see it right there?
Oh yes.
Yeah, he got it on the. Hey, Tom, you should have called in. Or
Yep.
how about this, Tom? Go ahead and call in. We got some more trivia questions.
We're winding down the program here
Yep.
on New Year's because we want to celebrate the rest of the New Year's
Absolutely.
Day with our friends and family. And we thank you for tuning in tonight or this afternoon to Sports Shooting Stars. But do go ahead.
Hey, RB, I'm gonna give you one more. It has to be quick. All right.
Oh, okay.
On the list, there's a list. Kobe Bryant's on the top list of scoring points in Pennsylvania. What is his number on the list of all-time scorers in Pennsylvania?
Number 1.
Number 1, he said. That was quick.
That was quick. You didn't think about it. But no, it's not number 1. Give you one more chance.
Number 13.
Close, but that's not it. But hey, we appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, because we gotta get a couple more calls in and finish up our show. But hey, we really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for participating.
Thanks, RB.
See you later, man.
Happy New Year.
Yep, see ya.
See ya.
There we go.
And also, like I said, there's people online that's watching the live
Chiming in.
YouTube, and they got the answers right.
They do, yes.
But they make the phone call. you get the money. So, you want to make some money with the answers too.
Yep,
So
start the new year off on the right foot. How
Right,
about it?
right.
A few extra dollars in your pocket. And as we wind down, we want to thank our sponsors, thank our viewers for tuning in, and the callers for calling into the program and making things a little interesting. We're never short for words, so it just helps that we have our fans call in and be part of the program.
And we really appreciate it. Like I said, a lot of people online that's checking us out. Like I said, Sports Shooting Stars, we're located on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We film live high school sporting events, and I know we're heavy on the football and basketball, but our goal is to get into the volleyball, wrestling, and other matches as well. I know Sean Toomey, out of one of our sponsors, he wants us to of Angelo's Pizza.
Angelo's
He wants us to get into the baseball. His son Nate Toomey is also a pitcher for Northeastern. So these are different ventures that we want to get into. We just have to expand the group a little bit, and this year, it's kind of like a hit or miss with COVID-19. So,
Yeah, it's going to be very fluid in terms of what we can and can't do because of COVID-19. And we hope that we can at least get some broadcast on the basketball side and carry into the spring season. And, of course, spring season, baseball, as you mentioned, track and field, and boys volleyball are three big ones.
And we also want, like I said, just real quick for people, just check us out on, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter again. But we want to give a quick shout out to our schedule this year, which will be, I'll do a couple, and Ty, you can do the rest. It will be Reading versus York High, which is going to be a great matchup. These two teams are district-ready teams that can make it to the district championship. So shout out to
a big rivalry from years ago between those two schools. It was two schools going at it all the time, and a big rivalry between the two schools.
West York versus Eastern York. So we get a chance to get a look at those
Knights.
guys.
Yeah, we get to see the Golden Knights.
On the girls' side, we have McCaskey versus York High, Dallastown versus Central, New Oxford versus Central, which is pretty much
back-to-back games for us.
Excuse me, back-to-back games. York High versus Central. Of course, that's the the rivalry that's always going to be there. York Suburban versus Bishop McDevitt. We'll be traveling, I believe, to go to that Bishop McDevitt.
A couple road games for us.
Mm-hmm. Columbia versus York High. Columbia, like I said, coached by Kerry Glover. York High coached by Clovis Gallen, of course, which they're friends. So that's going to be very interesting to see those guys match up against each other. Harrisburg versus Steel High, which is their rivalry out of the Mid-Penn area.
A big one with Steel High, and it'll be interesting to see if Mackay Flowers will be playing basketball. I had the opportunity last year to see Steel High play Trinity and matched up Mackay Flowers and Chance Westry, so we're hoping maybe the Mackay Flowers. I'll have to do a little research to find out whether or not he'll be playing basketball for Steel High.
Because he's committed.
He's committed today. He came out with the news
Penn
today.
State got a great recruiting class,
four-star recruit.
Big time.
Class of 2022 with Bo Perbola.
Mm-hmm. Also going to feature this year J.P. McCaskey boys versus Central York. And then, York Suburban versus Eastern York. Then we have Steel High versus Susquehanna. So that should be a really good game. And then our flex games may be York Catholic versus York County Tech. And also the girls' game, Dallastown versus Spring Grove, which
could be a matchup. If they have
last
county
year.
championships, that could be a matchup. And you throw in the Central York Panther girls as well. It should be three of the teams to keep an eye on in Division I YAIAA action this winter.
And Dallastown Dallastown girls has a great opportunity to go back three times.
Three times. So. They're back-to-back county champions. Will they be able to do that this year under head coach Jay Rexroth?
He's a great coach. So
as they say in the broadcast business, just stay tuned.
Yeah.
And COVID permitting, now without it, do.
Absolutely, yeah. So just take a look out for that. And also, like I said, we want to thank the fans and also the sponsors. Like we said again, our previous sponsors, our current sponsors, and future sponsors. Anybody want to get down with Sports Shooting Stars?
Contact us on social media.
Yeah.
We're out there, and not hard to find.
Yeah, we have so many different packages as well. Like I said, we can fit pretty much anybody's budget. Like I said, the sponsorship help us offset our camera equipment fees, and just to keep the program running, because we also give away player to game T-shirts to these to the student athletes. We give away masks, which as you can see located.
We had those. We had them on the starter program. Yep. I felt a bit claustrophobic sitting in the studio, but here it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Sports Shooting Stars.
We give those away to the.
And we even gave some cash away to Lindsay and Alexis.
Yep.
And
so
RV.
we try to get back. We try to get back as much as we can. So we really appreciate that. And also, I just want to before we head out here, Todd, since we have some of these notes, I want to go ahead and give some trivia question, the answers. I'm going to give the answers. The all-time leading boy scorer in Pennsylvania, his name is AJ Niskazi of Northern Bedford. He scored 3,833 points for Northern Bedford from 94 to 98. Averaged 33 points per game. He went to play college ball at West York. I'm sorry,
West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
Yeah. And also the Kobe Bryant thing. Kobe Bryant's number 9 on the all-time list in Pennsylvania. From 92 to 96, Kobe scored 2,883 points. He went straight to the NBA where he won 5 championships, 3 in a row with Shaq, and also have an illustrious career and became the legend that he is. Mm-hmm. So, shout out to Kobe. Like I said, I know a lot of people are still, feeling the effects of Kobe not being around.
It was last January.
Yeah.
Coming up on the 1-year passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter.
And also for Redline, the all-time leading scorer is Logan Steckel. In 2007, 2011, he scored over 2,800 points. I also want to give a shout out to Frank Hawkins. Frank Hawkins played for Redline Christian from 91 to 95. He scored 2,573 points. Frank was the former athletic director over at West York. He's moved on to another athletic director position. So, that's one of my old neighborhood buddies. So, shout out to Frank. Also York Catholic, of course. Who are the 2 brothers that scored over 1,000? Well, I said that for William Penn.
York High, yes.
But the 2 brothers for York Catholic that scored over 1,000 points is, of course, Jacob and John Oddie. Both those guys scored over 2,300 points. Brian Pearl from 87 to 91, he scored 2,175 points and went to Delaware University. Mm-hmm.
I threw 2 trivia questions out too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the last one I want to say about York High, the all-time leading scorer for York High is Montrell Parker. I think Vicky Landis, you got that right, Vicky. So you had it right on the YouTube feed. But Montrell Parker in 2016, he finished his career at York High. He scored 1,496 points. He went on to win a district title with York High. And also won a district title with New Hope Academy and played college ball at Stroudsburg University. The 2 brothers from York High that I said, were 1,000-point scorers. That's Kelvin and Tavon Parker. Kelvin scored 1,451 points, and his brother Tavon, he scored 1,221 points. And that's what I got.
Far apart? Were they
far
apart? Were they
just
teammates
check it
at
out.
one point with York High, or do you have that info?
Well, they may have been teammates because Kelvin graduated in 2011, Tavon graduated in 2013. So it's a possibility. Sophomore, senior, they may have been teammates.
Brothers on the court. Yeah, I threw out 2 trivia questions. I'm not sure if they piped in on your YouTube feed there, but this York High Bearcat was a 1980 alum, played football, basketball, and volleyball, and went on to the University of Pitt. And by the way, York's only Hall of Famer.
Wow.
Chris Dolman.
Oh yeah, Chris Dolman, man.
If you remember, passed away. Was an athlete, and I remember.
Chris Dolman played baseball.
Basketball.
He was
a
that's right. Yeah,
player.
That's right. Yeah.
And for my brother-in-law, he was a dynamic volleyball player. I think he was one of those athletes that probably could have played Division I. Basketball,
all across
volleyball,
the board,
and did it so well. But representing the York High Bearcats class of '80, Chris Dolman, who passed away last year, from a brain tumor or brain cancer, I believe. If I remember.
And his brother Ty Dolman is a close family member, a close friend of our family as well. Him and my brother was best friends. So Ty Dolman played for the Globetrotters. And he's located out in Minnesota right now. He's living his life. And shout out to the Dolman family, his father John Dolman, and the rest of the family that's out there. Chris Dolman was a big asset for York High as far
Boys
as
Club. I think he played Boys Club in the young leagues and worked himself up and was really a phenomenal athlete and passed way too young, really.
Absolutely.
And the other question I threw out as a York High Bearcat question, going back to the 1980s with York High, these 2 players went on to play at Penn State University, Andre Powell and Tyson Thomas.
Right.
Tyson Thomas It was a speedster, if I remember correctly. He ran track as well.
Man, Tyson Thomas. I mean, and his bloodline goes right down to his daughter. I think her name is Trinity Thomas.
Trinity and Tessa, I believe. Yes.
Yeah,
the
and she's
lineage, and I believe he married. His wife was a swimmer, I believe.
Yeah,
a Division I swimmer.
I mean, the athletic gene they have going on over there is amazing.
Incredible.
I think her name is Trinity Tyson Thomas.
She was a gymnast, and I believe the other daughter played volleyball. And had some hop. If I remember correctly.
It's crazy, man.
Volleyball. Yeah, it was just incredible. So, it was a good time coming in here on New Year's Day,
and also, real quick, just to finish off, I want to say the all-time leading scorer for girls basketball is Aaliyah Hall from Dover. In 2014, when she ended her career, she had over 1,619 points. And the all-time winning girls coach in your county of all time is Dom Demoff?
Demoff.
Dom Demoff
Yep.
of Redline with over 500 wins.
We threw out a lot of trivia.
Some trivia, so you guys
Save
get
it
it
for next time.
Yeah,
We'll have to
right.
come up with some new questions,
Yeah.
if we do this again. We're hoping maybe to do it once a month or once
Yeah.
every other week. COVID pending, if you will. And we thank you for tuning in on New Year's Day. It's Todd Edwards. It's Stu Jones.
Yeah, they didn't hit my pockets up too much on the
No.
on the trivia questions.
You can
but
make
this,
you can keep the money and make some interest.
There it
for
is.
next show. So,
There it is. So-
and congratulations to Lindsay and Alexis.
Yep, thank you.
For walking away with a few dollars today.
Yeah, even their input, we really appreciate that. Like I said, we are really based on input and feedback and things like that. Like I said, when we do live shows, when people inbox us and say things like that, we like to put it out there on the show. So, really appreciate all that feedback and you guys interacting with us today. About to sign off.
We're going to
Like I said,
sign off, and enjoy the rest of our holiday weekend, if you will, and we'll see you shortly, hopefully at the courtside somewhere here locally.
Yeah, we're there.
Sooner rather than later. And there it is. It's Sports Shooting
You
Stars.
see it in the background. You guys, thank you. We
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
again.
Practice social distancing so we can, keep this season going.
And here's to a happy and healthy 2021 from Todd Edwards and Stu Jones.
See ya.